Hello, my disciples, I'm Doc the Damned, and welcome back to Autism Analysis. I've been really wanting to do a video on this particular film, and obviously due to copyright reasons I can't watch the whole thing or show the whole thing. I've heard about this one, Mary and Max, and it has something to do with autism/Aspergers syndrome with the character Max. And this is the video of him explaining a little bit about what Aspergers syndrome is. And considering I have the condition as well, and I've done a lot of research into autism, I want to see if I can relate to any of the things that Max is going to describe in this video. And I know a lot of people in my audience are also autistic or are on the spectrum, and I want to see if they can relate to it as well. So let's get this video full screened, and let's play.
Dear Mary Daisy Dinkle, there is something I have to tell you, which will explain why I have not written.
And one thing I have to say for sure, I love, stop motion, because you can get so creative with it. And I love the colouring. There's basically no colour. It's really kind of indicative of the mood, basically. Everything seems dark and sad, because I believe this takes place in the 70s, if memory serves me right. And considering, all the trials and tribulations with Asperger's and autism, especially in those times, goodness me, it's kind of inevitable that it's going to be quite somber.
Each time I received one of your letters, I had a severe anxiety attack. This is because recently, while I was in a mental institution, they diagnosed that I have a new thing called Asperger's syndrome, which is a neurobiological, pervasive, developmental disability.
Indeed it is.
I prefer ASPI for short.
And I guess I'd also consider myself an Aspie as well. And that's, yeah, as Max says, is the best way to describe somebody with autism for short. I'm an Aspie, basically.
I will now list some of the traits of an ASPI.
That light, for example. When I first saw a little bit of this clip, it really got me, as of bright flash. And bright flashes are a thing that a lot of autistic people tend to struggle with.
Number 1, I find the world very confusing and chaotic because my mind is very literal and logical.
Yep, I've been there before several times when it comes to taking things that have been said to you or seeing things very literally. Like, sometimes we can struggle with sarcasm and we take everything literally. As example, as it just says here, take a seat. Max just takes the seat with him instead of just sitting down like how a neurotypical person would.
2, I have trouble understanding the expressions on people's faces.
Yep, this is one I've also struggled with, but I've kind of learned to understand it better. I would like to also say that I believe this is more so for the subtle expressions on somebody. Because we could typically understand, when somebody is very angry, their face is all scrunched up, their face is bright red. But if somebody's just uncomfortable, maybe, their hands are shaking, they're, picking at their fingers, or they're biting their nails, we wouldn't typically be able to tell that something is up with that person. It's a common thing with a lot of autistic people. So yeah, I can definitely relate with this one, Max.
When I was younger...
Okay, goodness me.
I made a book to help me when I was confused.
Yeah, probably gonna have to censor that, but yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, olden times, people.
I still have trouble with some people. Ivy was hard to understand because of her wrinkles and because her eyebrows weren't real.
Yeah, I could believe that.
3, I have bad handwriting. I'm hypersensitive. Clumsy.
The handwriting, I guess, but that's also because I have a other medical condition which affects my joints. I don't think the whole bad handwriting thing is a universal thing amongst all autistic people, but I believe it is definitely one of the traits you see quite a bit. But for me personally, I have bad handwriting because of a different thing. However, that sensitivity to noise and sound, 100% sure. Whenever something like that goes off or a fire alarm goes off, it can really get me.
See, I can get very concerned.
Yep, this is true.
4. I like solving problems. Ivy said this is a good thing.
Yeah, a lot of autistic people tend to be problem solvers. Some like things such as Rubik's Cubes or word searches, something to kind of get their mind off of things. And they are, as Max says, a lot more logical in terms of thinking. So stuff like puzzle solving would kind of, drag them along naturally. They would want to lean towards that.
And finally, number 5, I have trouble expressing my emotions.
Oh yeah, don't I know that? I express my emotions, but sometimes I struggle explaining my emotions. I understand that I'm going through something, and I can feel that I'm going through something. It's just telling somebody that my emotions are acting up sometimes that I can struggle with. So Max is 100% right on this, and I imagine quite a few of you people in my audience, you guys have something similar to this, or you've been through something similar to this.
Dr. Bernard Hasselhoff says my brain is defective.
Oh. Yep, that is definitely a sign of the olden times right there, guys.
But one day, there will be a cure for my disability.
Yeah, again, this is supposed to take place, I believe, in the 70s, so those words nowadays are extremely triggering for obvious reasons, of course, because autism is nothing like how, things used to portray it as back then. It's not like cancer, AIDS, or other kinds of horrible conditions, which Autism Speaks likes to say it is, but we now know that that's complete malarkey. But as sad as it is, yeah, that's quite common back in those times, what the people thought of autism before they could really understand it. And yeah, it can get very draining, making you feel like you're extremely defective or you're not normal, quote unquote. But then again, what the hell does normal mean? Normal is what you make it. Remember that one, guys.
I do not like it when he says this. I do not feel disabled.
And yeah, this is what a lot of people with autism, including myself, feel.
Defective, or a need to be cured. I like being an Aspie. It would be like trying to change the color of my eyes.
It's impossible. It's stupid and it's silly. And you should be happy for who you are, and you shouldn't have to change because society doesn't understand you. And this message hits me very deeply, and it hits a lot of people that I know who are also on the spectrum very deeply.
There is one thing I wish I could change, however. I wish I could cry properly. I squeeze and squeeze, but nothing comes out. I cry when I cut onions, but this does not count.
Yeah, I've heard of that. A lot of autistic people can kind of struggle with their emotions, and maybe they don't cry at kind of appropriate times as society would deem. Like, maybe during a funeral of a loved one who's passed away, they didn't cry. I didn't cry during my nan's funeral, even though I loved her very much. I guess that could also relate to this as well. Yeah, sometimes my emotions can be kind of weird sometimes, but this video hits me, and it really is quite accurate to what a lot of autistic people have to go through. So yeah, this film I'm definitely going to have to watch some other time, and I believe Max explaining Asperger's syndrome was definitely spot on the money for somebody who's done a lot of research into autism like myself and has lived through the condition for over 21 years. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Autism Analysis. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to become a part of my disciples. And if you want to, go check out my membership program, which I have just launched, if you want to show me some more support. Until then, I will see you all later. Take care, my disciples.